In construction, whether it's in residential, commercial, civil, and/or industrial industries, all of which have many different components that make up each one of them. One of those components that is common in most industries is framing.
However, when it comes to framing, there are several different types of framing that are used depending on the industry, the project, the cost, the durability, the location, etc. Some of the most common types of framing being used in the industry today include 16-inch on center wood framing, engineering studs and lumber, cross-laminated timber, and steel framing.
Hi, today I'm going to be talking to you about wood studs, spaced 16 on center. First, we will look at why we use 16-inch on center studs and what kind of studs we will use for that. Here we have 2x4 studs. These studs are 92 5/8. That means they are for an 8-foot ceiling. If you wanted studs for a 9-foot ceiling, you would use 104 5/8 inches stud. After you know the height of the wall, you will want to know the depth of the wall. Most studs are 2x4 or 2x6, but there are times where you can special order studs that are deeper than that. Now that we know what type of wood and the size of it that's normally used for studs, we can talk about why we space them 16 inches on center. There are multiple reasons for this, starting with the first reason that we use 16 on center spacing in our walls is that you will normally put sheathing on both the outside and inside of them. Sheathing normally comes in 4x8 sheets. This makes it divisible by 16, so you will have a stud fall on the end and beginning of a piece of plywood or piece of OSB or drywall, whatever you're putting on the outside of the wall. Another reason to use 16 on center spacing is it gives the support needed for multiple levels. It gives more support than a 24 on center wall for the above stories, but it also brings up another problem, cost. Cost is easy to calculate. To calculate the cost of the studs in the house, it is very easy. You can do it with a simple Google search and do an online calculator or some simple mathematics that we learned in class. All you need for a calculation is the height of the wall, the length of the wall, the spacing distance in between each stud, and this will all get you a board feet length of studs you'll need. You can then go to a supplier and buy that many board feet of stud. Once you have the amount of lumber you will need, you might be thinking, why are we using wood and not some other material? There are a few reasons for this. One of the biggest ones is that lumber has been used for so long that there are so many skilled craftsmen using it today. There are very few other skilled craftsmen using other materials such as metal. Lumber is also cheap and readily available. While it is a renewable resource and we are going through it very quickly, there's still plenty of it out there and many vendors who sell it. Wood framing 16 on center is a tried and true method that has been practiced over the years, and we can expect to see it into the foreseeable future. While dimensional lumber has been used in the past and we think it will be used in the future, it is not the only way to frame a house or building.
Hi, I'm Trevor, and I'm here to talk to you about some engineered studs. This sign says caution, keep gate close, but I am the law.
What's up, guys? It's your favorite YouTuber, T Swizzle. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe. Today I want to talk to you about some engineered studs, but for real, smash the like button. Okay. Anyways, what are engineered studs? Engineered studs are wood strands, veneer, lumber, and other types of wood fibers, all bonded together using heat and pressure. And what that does is it's going to make a really strong stud for you, and it's just going to be much better than your standard stud. When do companies use engineered studs? Well, companies use engineered studs in custom built homes because it allows for, which goes into my next question, is Why do the companies use them? Because it allows for much more space in your house because the studs are stronger. You can go longer distances with them without them sagging, so it's going to allow for larger spaces and larger roofs, which in the end is going to give you a much cooler design and a house that's going to make it feel like home to you. Anyways, as I was saying, a common type of engineered stud would be an LVL, as laminated veneer lumber. It usually costs $6 to $15. I think normal stud is maybe around $2 to $4ish. So it's a little more pricey. And what are the drawbacks of an engineered stud? Well, the drawbacks of an engineered stud would probably be it costs more, like I just said, and it is less fire resistant, but you can do things that can combat that. And it costing more, I really think you're gonna get the bang for your buck. So you're not gonna have those bows or the wood shortening. You're gonna have some good quality wood, and overall your house is just gonna be a much more quality house. But anyways, guys, go ahead and smash the like button and make sure you subscribe and comment on the video. Tell me what you think, and I'll catch you guys later. T-Swizzle out.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Travis. Here to teach you about some cross-laminated timber. Cross-laminated timber is an engineered timber product that is threatening to upset the two structural leading materials, concrete and steel. Cross-laminated timber, or CLT for short, is starting to gain popularity due to the product's capabilities of sustainability, cost, time, and maintenance. Prefabricated panels can be delivered to site as needed, making this construction method ideal for projects with limited on-site storage. These panels are lifted up, quickly assembled, greatly reducing construction time and cost. With CLT being created out of wood, this reduces the overall weight of the building, potentially reducing the cost of groundwork.
Nowadays, you can see CLT being used in a wide variety of homes, offices, schools, and towers. Often referred as super plywood, CLT is manufactured in a controlled factory environment from sustainably sourced timber of all kinds. Once at the factory, timber is planed and conditioned, then stacked on top of one another, each rotated 90 degrees from the one below it. These layers are then glued using non-toxic adhesive, then hydraulically pressed together, that which creates the high-strength structural panels. A common misconception of CLT is that it catches fire easily. CLT is more like concrete in a way. Mass timber does not want to catch fire easy, and once lit, it wants to put itself out. Mass timber creates instantaneous deflection, strength for permanent loading, durability, acoustic performance, and vibration reduction on the floors. Another key advantage of CLT would be that it has relatively high in-plane and out-of-plane strength and stiffness properties in both directions.
Oh, hey guys, I'm going to talk to you about steel framing today. Steel framing is one of the many different materials used in framing here today. It's used in commercial and residential buildings, and the average cost is $2 to $6 per square foot. Steel framing begins by having walls, floor panels, and roof trusses be manufactured in a factory anywhere across the globe by a process called roll forming, which is passing sheet steel through a series of rollers to form the bends that make the shape. Once the steel framing is done, it is then shipped to the job site where it will then be assembled. Here's a steel framing video on how it's assembled.
Hey, I'm Rob North, Master Craftsman, and I'm going to bring you up to speed on steel framing. Now, if you're wondering why steel in the first place, well, the answer is pretty simple. It's because in a commercial or a condo situation, it's the code, you have to use it. But there's some pretty good reasons to use it in your house, too, and I'm going to show you why and how. One of the best applications for steel framing in your house is in your basement. That's because a lot of times the concrete floor is not level. And what you can do is cut, track, and bend it to make it fit to whatever the consistency of your floor is. On top of that, if you've ever had wood in your basement, then you know that once that moisture gets in contact with the wood, then it's going to start to rot and mold. Steel don't do that. Now, once you figured out where you want your wall to go, then you need to lock it to the floor. Now, if you're going into concrete, then you need to use a masonry anchor like this one. But if you're going into wood, then you need to use a standard drywall screw. But it has to be a fine thread because it's going to punch through that steel better and give you a better hole. After that, you're ready for some studs. Now, on a wooden wall, studs are ordinarily placed every 16 inches on center. Steel's no different. Except there are some things you need to know about a steel stud. Number one, they have holes in them. Now, in every hole, there's a notch. And that notch is the bottom of the stud. So this is the right side up. That is upside down. Got it? Good. And when it comes to layout, you need to go ahead and mark your track for the placement of each stud. Use a Sharpie, because the pencil just doesn't show up very well. Now mark every 16 inches, except you're not going to go right on that 16-inch mark. Go back 3/4 of an inch, because that's going to be the outside edge of the stud. So in this case, it's 15 1/4, and an X to the side I want my stud on. Now here's the important part. You want to make sure you get your stud right side up. The open side of that track, see there's a flat and open side, goes to the X, all right? Put it halfway in, twist it, and lock it into place. These are the screws we're going to be using. Self-tappers. One on each side will get it done. So that's it. You crimp it, you screw it, you square it, and then you screw it again. You gotta love steel framing. It's always straight and it's easy to work with. I'm Rob North, and that is how you get it done.
Each piece of steel contains a minimum of 25% recycled content and is 100% recyclable at the end of its lifespan. Steel framing needs to be durable as it is often found being used in areas with high wind speeds and areas off the coast. When comparing steel framing to wood framing, there are some differences between the two. One of those differences is steel framing is easier to handle because of the steel studs weighing 1/3 of the weight of the wood studs. This allows for the installing of steel framing to be accomplished using less strength. Another difference is the long-term maintenance costs are reduced because steel is resistant to rot, mold, termite, and insect infestation, whereas wood is not. The next difference is that for plumbers and electricians, routing wires and pipes through steel walls may prove simpler than what they're used to with wood frames, as the studs come pre-punched with holes along the studs and joist lengths, thus allowing plumbing and electric work to get done faster, saving time and saving money. One final difference is warranty callbacks are minimized because steel does not shrink, split, or warp. Conducted by the NAHB Research Center showed that zinc coating on steel framing materials can protect against corrosion for hundreds of years, making steel very durable. Steel framing will continue to be a vital framing material used across the globe for many more decades to come.
The many advantages and few disadvantages of these framing materials will keep them in use for decades to come. Overall, we feel that 16-inch on-center is the best option, especially in the Vine Street case. That is because it is the most common and most cost-effective type of framing.
Steel framing is more commonly used for commercial builds and placed near coastlines. Engineered lumber is more commonly used in custom-built homes, and cross-laminated timber is more commonly used in commercial buildings as well. With all that being said, we believe 16-inch on-center wood framing would be the best option for residential buildings in that area.